Section 1. Purpose of this book. Introduction and purpose of this book. The objective of this book is to help support individual health and foster a healthier society by utilizing the unchanging principles of Ayurveda. The first step is to propagate the well-known adage prevention is better than cure. As Ayurveda spreads from India into other parts of the world, particularly the West, it moves into places where the ancient indigenous systems of healthy living have been lost. Often, there is no culturally accepted system of healthy living in these regions. In areas new to Ayurveda, practitioners are often frustrated to see the fact that many illnesses could be prevented just by practicing a system of healthy living. They are treating patient illnesses caused by improper living, but the patients were absolutely unaware that they were making themselves ill. This book is meant for all the people who want to preserve and promote health and avoid all future illnesses for themselves and for their loved ones. It will also help people who are under the guidance of an Ayurvedic consultant, Vaidya, as a compendium of information to support the healthy lifestyle that is necessary when healing with Ayurvedic practices. The information found here is based on the ancient knowledge of Ayurveda, documented 5,000 years ago, and has been tested over time to be effective in creating healthy individuals and communities. As an Ayurvedic consultant, I have treated patients with all varieties of lifestyles since last 30 plus years. Most of the time, they have never been asked questions about their lifestyle by a medical professional. They are therefore astonished by my questions and later shocked when I tell them that they have to change their lifestyle to get cured. A healthy lifestyle is necessary when treating serious advanced diseases, but it is more useful for society to remain healthy and not get sick in the first place. This book emphasizes how to integrate Ayurvedic lifestyle practices into a modern life and highlights many cases I have seen where lifestyle is the core of the problem and thus the cure. Often people turn towards Ayurveda when modern medicine cannot offer any treatment. Often when surgery is not possible due to poverty, fear, the condition of the patient, or lack of treatment options, the patient turns towards Ayurveda or another alternative path. I started getting advanced stage cases and realized the miracles of Ayurveda with its holistic management. Based on my 30 plus years of experience with patients with serious diseases that are often considered incurable, I wrote a book entitled Cancer, Heart Disease and Diabetes, Prevention and Treatment in Ayurvedic Perspective. The book mainly focuses on the concept of preventing the leading trio of this era and also avoids recurrence of serious diseases like cancer and heart diseases in patients who have survived through them once. Since it is clear that an unhealthy lifestyle is the main cause of these diseases, this companion book focuses on how and why to live a healthy lifestyle based on Ayurveda. What is meant by lifestyle? 1. A set of attitudes, habits, or possessions associated with a particular person or group. 2. Such attitudes, etc., regarded as fashionable or desirable. In terms of Ayurveda, lifestyle is a catch-all word meant to encompass all things that produce effects over our body, mind, and spirit. It is our way of living, everything we eat, the people we encounter, activities we do, the things we create, even our desires. Actions that are done repetitively or things that exist in your environment for a long time are the most important parts of lifestyle because both have a greater impact on a person. For example, staying up late to study for exams 20 times in 4 years may not be a big cause of ill health, but staying up late every day for 4 years will have a deleterious effect. Having a fearful experience a handful of times is normal human life. Living in a state of fear for a long time with effect which will affect our long-term well-being. It is the things and events of everyday life which make up our lifestyle. Practically speaking, lifestyle includes what we eat regularly, of course, but also includes when we typically eat and the conditions where we eat. It includes the conditions of the place that we live or spend a lot of time, like our workplace. It includes our habitual thoughts and beliefs as they affect our mind and spirit. It includes regular physical activities like exercise, sleep, driving, work, and even love making. Lifestyle is something that we are actively engaged in. However, it sometimes seems that we are not in control of it. Work schedules can be out of our control. As the pace of life increases, the demand on our time make taking care of ourselves seems like a utopian dream. Often we must find healthier ways to live in an inconvenient world or make plans to change in the future when we are able. It is common to blame other people, jobs, or problems for our inability to live in a healthy manner right now. Remember that the health of our body is our personal responsibility and it affects not just our own well being but the people around us and all of the society. Creating balance in our lives and the lives of the people we are responsible for will have magnified effects on the well being of the society as well as personal long term benefits for us. Wherever possible, a long range view is essential. Weigh long term health and happiness against short term gains in money, pleasure, or reluctance to make a change, and making the right decisions will be easier. Making the transition to living a healthy lifestyle may initially be challenging. Some Ayurvedic guidelines are admittedly difficult to follow, and you may wonder if it is worth it. One way to make the transition to an Ayurvedic lifestyle is easier to see the important reasons for living in such a way. With the larger goals and perspective of achieving a healthy lifestyle in mind, all the smaller pieces will fall into place more easily. Then you no longer need to fight with yourself about whether to eat another piece of chocolate or stay in bed a few extra minutes. Do we really live life? We have to ask ourselves whether or not we are really living our lives or just going through the motions. It is worth giving deep thought to this. Routinely, we get up in the morning, spend the whole day in various activities, consume different kinds of foods, and go to bed at night. This is what we all do every day. Do we just keep going without any conscious purpose or intention, without paying much attention to what, why, and how we are doing? Seeking answers to these three questions will invite us to look more closely at ourselves. Most of the times, we are not paying any attention to self. We all desire a healthy, happy, long life. Have we thought of how to achieve this? Living as if these goals are the most important things to us requires changes in mindset and concrete actions in a particular direction. When we consider these questions, they will inevitably lead to more questions, eventually arriving at the need to understand the purpose of life. So let us consider this universal question: attitude towards life and its purpose. Attitude towards life directly affects the lifestyle we choose to live. But many people have not seriously considered attitude and how powerfully it affects their life and health. They might never have realized the necessity of reflecting on their attitude, thinking, my routine is very smooth. Why I should bother myself with the reflection? It is only when serious problems arise that many begin to question why things are happening the way they are. Even at that time, short-term solutions to problems tend to prevail, as a wholesome examination of their life and its purpose is quite a task. Often it is only when everything else has failed that we start thinking of what we truly want from life and start to live a lifestyle that supports these long-term goals. Indian philosophy has always said that there are 84 crore species of living organisms on earth. This is an interesting number as modern science now approximates that there are close to 8.7 million different life forms on land and in the sea. URL http www.sciencedaily.com releases 2011-08-110823-180459.htm. Amongst all of this, human life is special because only via the human form is there a chance of liberation. Actually, it is only in human form that we can begin to consider liberation from the suffering of mortality. We are fortunate indeed to have been born as human beings who have the ability to learn from various texts and gurus about various disciplines and are capable of enjoyment and fulfillment in life. So one has to think of life in a new and positive way by deciding on goals and objectives that reflect the privileged and the previous position we are in. This same principle applies to health-related issues. Even for fulfillment of our desires and enjoyment of pleasures, we need a long, healthy life. In Indian philosophy, life is divided into four stages which might be helpful to understand when considering how to purposefully live your life. The first phase of life is called Brahmacharya Ashram. This is a time for discovery and learning, and in which we bring together all the elements that we need to construct who we will be as adults. It is not the time to indulge in worldly desires, but to hone the best qualities that you were born with. These are the only important values at this time, and other distractions like stress, work, or sexuality will rob us of our ability to develop into healthy members of society. The second phase is called Gruhastha. This is the phase where we find our first job and start supporting ourselves and acting as full members of society. For many, this means getting married and beginning a family of our own. All the enjoyments of married life, children, and the benefits of making money come at this time. This is usually the longest period of life. It is a time of great attachment to family, friends, and even society, and this attachment forms the basis for strong societies and nations. Some traditions refer to people in this phase as householders, as the household is an essential element in maintaining the functions of society. As we age, though, there is an understanding that attachment and pleasure also bring the potential of grief. We come to understand that this is not all which is expected as life. Perhaps there is a yearning for more permanent pleasures and truths that come with increased wisdom. Often there is a natural and gradual detachment from the enjoyment of the things of the physical world to ones of a more spiritual or philosophical nature. Here begins the third quadrant of life, Vanaprasthashram, where at least metaphorically we prepare to go to the forest to live a contemplative life. The final phase of life is sannyasashram, when there is prolonged meditation and total detachment, leading ultimately to liberation of the spirit. Although this is not the usual way we in the modern world think of the stages of life, it provides a perspective which may be valuable for creating our own positive attitudes and goals. We are the ones who choose our attitude towards life and health. No one else can do it for us. This book offers guidance to develop an attitude which is beneficial to the individual and then to the whole society and the world. In the West, because there is so much emphasis on the individual, it is not typical to think of our place in larger systems. But for the purposes of reflection, it would be valuable to understand one's background, including family, region, physical, and socio-economic conditions into which one was born. Some questions that will help you define who you are and how best to live include: what are your strengths and weaknesses and those of your parents or ancestors? How long do the people in your family live, and are they hereditary? Are there any hereditary diseases? What are the cultural and social qualities of one's family, region, or country of birth? What values and qualities have you chosen for yourself? What was your birth like? Were you fortunate enough to have had a full term normal delivery, or was it premature, post-mature, over or underweight, etc.? How is education valued in your family? What is their attitude about culture and personal development? What are their expectations about becoming responsible members of society, and what aspects of their expectations have you accepted without thinking? What attitudes have you created for yourself? What sort of qualities and attributes do you want to emphasize in your life now and for your children? If you are aware of how all of these factors influence you, it will be much easier to develop a clear attitude towards life and what you want to accomplish. At any point in life, one may do this sort of review. With this perspective, you can decide on goals and objectives for yourself and set a good example for your children and grandchildren. At the very least, whatever you were not able to achieve can hopefully be fostered in the next generation. Relationship between lifestyle and health. Since we are the ones responsible for our lifestyle, our choices about how we live our lives are the input we have. Therefore, it is quite clear that the output or result, either health or disease, is directly related to good or bad lifestyle. After reading the whole book, one may say that it's the demanding situation which has put one in such an unhealthy lifestyle. But at least one should start thinking about the lifestyle, and then changes will follow after the thought process, initially at the individual level and then in the society. So, in order to achieve and preserve health or heal a particular disease, one has to think about lifestyle straight away. A healthy lifestyle keeps you on the right path to health, whereas deviation leads to disease. That is why Ayurveda has described daily and seasonal routines for maintenance of health, swasthavritta, and rules for good conduct, sadvritta. If one follows these guidelines throughout life, a long, happy, healthy life is well within the reach. But if one does not follow these routines and rules, then unfortunately the person has to deal with discomforts of illness. To illustrate these principles, Charakacharya, considered to be the author of the oldest of the primary texts of Ayurveda, the Charaka Samhita, gave the example of a horse cart. Today we can consider a car or motorbike instead, but the story is the same. If the raw materials are good, the assembly is proper, the roads are good, the driver is skilled and the maintenance is regular, then the vehicle will have a long and functional life. But if the raw material is poor quality, the assembly is not good, the roads are bumpy, the driver is negligent and the vehicle is not maintained properly, then obviously that vehicle will not have good quality or the desired lifespan. This same principle applies to human beings. We may inherit some strengths or weaknesses from our parents. So it is important to consider such questions as whether our mother was able to take proper care of her during pregnancy. Another consideration might be how we were treated as children. Children grow best under the supervision of loving and attentive parents until about the age of 16. The quality and longevity of our life depends upon such factors. As you can see, a full healthy lifespan depends on lifestyle practices that originate in childhood or even earlier with the lifestyle practices of the parents before conception and span the whole life. It is also important to note that the Ayurveda texts consider an ideal, normal, healthy lifespan for a human body to be 100 years. To summarize, introduction. One simple answer to a healthy lifestyle is a healthy lifestyle. 2. Lifestyle according to Ayurveda is all things that produce effect over our body, mind and spirit. 3. Ayurveda embraces all four factors viz. Body, senses, mind, soul and understands that an imbalance in one can negatively affect the others and bring a person into a state of ill health. 4. Ayurveda focuses on the details of causative factors and thus excels at avoiding illness, heading off imbalance between small problems become big problems and reversing disease so that a person can live a healthy, normal life.